Good morning. It is April the 16th, one day before our taxes have to be time-stamped by the post office, and probably a week to 10 days before our checks are cashed. For those of us who support the swamp and all those people that live, take their cut out of all those dollars that pass through Washington, D.C., so I know this is their happiest day of the year. Let's get started with our disclaimer. Hypothetical or simulated performance results have certain limitations. Unlike an actual performance record, simulated results do not represent actual trading. Also, since the trades have not been executed, the results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors, such as lack of liquidity. Simulated trading programs in general are also subject to the fact that they are designed with the benefit of hindsight. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profit or losses similar to those shown. That is a mouthful. Okay, equities around the globe are mixed. China's markets were up, Japan's down, Europe was split. The United States market is up, and that's the one that counts. So the ES was up some 16 points when I looked at it and pointed higher this morning. The inverse relationship is almost always there in Globex. First 2 hours of the trading during the day, and if the ES reverses in the last couple hours into the bonds close, then it can kick back in later on. So we usually hit the inverse relationship for us usually carries to about 10 o'clock Central, maybe 11 Eastern. You can see right here there's a very clean break in the market at 11:12, and we're at 7.5 right now. 9.5, 10, 11. So 9.5 and up the selling begins. We're at 7.5 right now. I put a 7 to 11 out when I did was doing the write up. I might be able to get it done at 9.5. Second at 15 to 19. On the buy side, I put the buck to 04. Buying against the buck right here at 1. Looks like that's a trade that should at least give us a bounce. 25 to 29 by 2. We have news that can impact the trading. Retail sales plus 0.4. X autos plus 2. Empire State Manufacturing Survey 18.2. I always love these decimal points that they come up with. And Housing Market Index at 70. The news focus, retail sales ex autos. Hope everybody had a great weekend. We had 5 days of winds, steady state 30, gusts as high as 47 for 5. The first 3 days we had it, it was because it's much warmer than normal. Then this weekend we got the big blow as that winter storm broke out of the Canadian Rockies and went roaring across the United States. And we got the backside of it, and it was cold air, cold and dry. So Henry naturally loved it. I actually put on a down jacket to go walking, cut the wind. So I'm ready for a little bit of spring weather right now. I enjoy cold weather, but enough's enough. So let's see if we can't bring some more BTUs our way from down south. Why are treasuries selling? Well, the auction is over. And the Fed's going to raise interest rates. The FOMC minutes last week said the economy was strong and getting stronger. A little bit of worried about inflation. When you look at inflation on the annualized basis on the Fed's measurements, it comes out 2.4, 2.7. And if they have 2.4, 2.7, it's got to be higher than that, right? It's the way it works. So here we sit, we're at 23, 28 to the buck. 1, sell 3 to 7. That would be a fabulous trade. I don't think we're going to get it there. 27s, 31s. The 31 fade would be ideal. For the treasuries to rally back today, it's going to take some help from the news and the Emini. We're right in it, so 20 to 24, number 1. 13 to 17, buy 1. 5 to 9, buy 2. Yeah, I imagine, I don't know, our last frost date, average frost date is on the 19th. I mean, it's 23 outside today, so imagine it's probably pretty cold up Chicago, Minneapolis, Madison. And there was snow to the north. Better you than me, Jeff. Just kidding. We've had one measurable snow in the last 3 years down here. That's how dry it's been. Really hurting for moisture. Ooh. I saw somewhere on the Weather Channel's headlines that somebody got 28 inches. That'd be rough. Okay, gold's holding in there. You see the break in the markets here at 42. So 42, 44 by 1. Kind of starting to lean B in the congestion area. So we're at support, and then 38 to 40 by 2. On the sell side, 48 to 50, sell 1. And then 53, 55, sell 2. Gold's fundamental pressure is the same as treasuries. The Fed's raising interest rates. For you to eat, if you own gold, you got to sell some of your gold. And you only prosper when it appreciates. So if you own bonds or something that pays interest on your money, you don't have to sell something to eat. So that's why the pressure's on gold. Okay, the euro, again, with this 23.75, we found buyers, and 24.50 we found sellers, and we're just kind of moving back and forth. The trading range is notching higher when you look at this. You can see that this is the last 3 months right here, and right now we're holding. We're not even really getting down into this area right here. So definitely a buyer below 23.25, and the seller is really above 25 right now. So market looks like it wants to trade up. I'm going to fold this back in. We'll make it a move out of the middle. And today at 10:30 we'll go work on splits and help you. If you can't split and combine the profile, you're going to be in trouble. You got to know how to combine them, and you have to know how to break them apart. So right now the euro looks higher. Got the single prints down here. We got this little ledge right there. So 10 to 20 by 1. 90 to the buck by 2. On the sell side, 30 to 40, sell 1. And we'll pick this up over here, 50 to 60, sell 2. Crude oil pieces breaking out all over. You know, we had a measured response to Syria, and based on the targets we attacked, Friday night, nobody's in there. The offices are clean, so casualties are minimized. From a military standpoint, I don't think you can read a hell of a lot into it. It showed great restraint on the United States' part. But I think the message that goes to Iran and North Korea and other troublemakers around the world is that if we say you're not supposed to do something or don't do it, if we draw a red line under Trump, he will take action. And I think that message got across loud and clear. So if you're in North Korea, Iran, China, other people that are taking the United States on now, and Trump tells you if you do something, these are the consequences, I think they will pay attention to it. So I think in that respect, the attack has more value than it actually did against Syria. I thought it was a very, very restrained approach against Syria. So that's my 2 cents. And if you're out there in the market for robust defense, missile defense weaponry, the Russian salesmen are going to have to bribe more, or much more difficult sell for them than it once again. They sell when things are quiet and their missiles aren't tested. It takes them several years to recover when their missiles failed to do what they were supposed to do. So I think the message that came out of Syria was a lot different. Everybody's euphoric over it because it was a restrained attack. Everybody's euphoric over it because France and Britain went along with the United States, so it wasn't unilateral action. I mean, a lot of the talk and the chatter is just the normal baloney that we put up with it, but be that as it may, it's now in the history books, and we'll see what the outcome is going to be. If I'm Pakistan, do I want to buy Russian missiles with my hard-earned foreign currency exchanges? Only if they give me a hell of a deal, right? And then you got to question the efficacy of those systems. China, am I buying Russian technology? Probably not. So Russia didn't help themselves, and everybody also saw that the entire Russian naval, I don't even know what you'd call it, that was in their Syrian base, all took to the seas on Thursday. They weren't going to take a chance on getting shot or hurt, so what kind of allies are those? So I think the fallout against Syria was minimal. I think the message that was sent to troublemakers is there, and then I think the message that was sent out about Russian missile systems. There was a couple of great articles too over the weekend that were talking about, by putting it out the table and letting everybody know, they are able to monitor and pick up a lot of intelligence by watching where these people, the Iranians, also pulled out, and they're able to pick up the radio traffic and see which way which bases were emptied. So they got a really, really good feel about where the concentration of Iranians and Russians were in Syria, and picked up intelligence that way. So Probably a pretty good round all the way around for the United States intelligence-wise. Okay, resistance is at 80, and the first resistance point is basically 80 to 85. So stops above the overnight session, stops above over this. They know there's stops there. Do we have enough for the market to go further? The rally, and as you can see right here, it's not a huge rally, is based on the limited Syrian attacks and the stuff we just talked about. So we had the markets were mixed overseas, Europe, but none of them were really, the Chinese markets were up, but they had some catching up to do. So the equity markets around the globe, I mean, everybody's waiting on the U.S. market to see if we can get stops above 2,700. And if you look at the longer term charts, 2575 held, 2775 to 2800 is where resistance is on the Emini. Looks like the market's headed that way. Don't know what piece of news it takes to get up there. So 75 to 84 is sell 1. I like the long side better. 89 to 94 is sell 2. We'll have our usual 99.50 fade. On the buy side, getting in 61.66 buy 1. I like the long side first, and 51.56 for buy 2. Yeah, those poor Russian salesmen going to have to earn their keep now, selling Russian missile defense systems. How big a bribe will it take to close the deal, right? It's going to be bigger. And a lot of those missile systems by Russia are sold on the basis of bribes. Okay, it's going to take a bit to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy with that. I will be back with you as soon as possible. We have news this morning that can impact the trading. We'll be up for the retail sales and see what the reaction is to that later.